Okay, everyone, I think it's time. I think it's time. We are at the hour, 4 p.m. I'm ready to get back to it. And okay. So I'm just gonna make an announcement. Okay, great. So we have a survey. We have a survey that we'd really like everyone to take. So much so that we will reward you for taking it. And make sure that you have the notes from the full notes from the course and recording. I think is what you said. Okay. So here we have the link to the survey. So please fill it out at your leisure, and then you will get. And maybe Marion, you should tell us what we'll get in return. Sorry, I've lost my chat when I got Zoom kicked me out before. So tell me what. Tell us what we get for filling it out, and I'm sure everyone will be delighted to. Let me just go back while we are waiting for. Okay, posting the printed notes to you. There we go. Wow, amazing printed notes. Cool. Thank you. Awesome. All right, let's go back to where we were. So actually, we were about to do the quiz. And if I go back here, let me just double check and make sure we're on the right number. And we're going to be building a table. So we're probably going to give you a little bit more time. And okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to experiment here. I know it's a bit late in the day for an experiment, but why not? Okay, I'm just going to give you the instructions. You've seen how to create a table before, right? Let me go back to sharing my screen. Okay. Maybe I'll do my Google Analytics again. Okay, there we go. We saw how to create a table, where you go to customization, custom reports, and then you have your dimensions here. Oh, be sure to click on flat table. If you don't click on flat table, you're gonna have a very hard time. So click on flat table, put in your dimensions, put in your metrics, and you should be able to get the results. Always, of course, for example, this table. So put the dimensions, put the metrics in. I see my default channel grouping, thing, other. Always check your date as well, just to be sure, in case you accidentally went to, I don't know, what's it called? Real time. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna switch over to the quiz. And let me move over to the next one. So I'm gonna give you 4 minutes to just have a go on it. But what I want you to do is I want you to try and build a table and tell me which page title had the lowest bounce rate. Okay. So it's like a little bit of figuring out, a little bit of ingenuity, a little bit of engineering, a little bit of scavenger hunt, all that all together. But overall, it gets you to think carefully about the information you want and how to get it Okay, so have a go on that. Okay, people are struggling a bit with this, but I'll tell you what, let's just, I'm gonna let it roll. I'm gonna let it roll and we'll get through these and then I'll show you how to do it. And I'll give you some idea of how we need to think about analytics in the future when we're having to do this stuff on our own. Okay. Ooh. All right. Okay, a few more seconds there. Get your guesses in. Fire them in. Let's see if we can do better than random. Let's see if we can do better than random. All right, you might be struggling a bit. I understand. All right, let's have a look. What did the crowd think anyway? Let's have a look what the crowd thought. Oops, crowd. Not gonna tell me what the crowd thought. 1 second. Live answer results. Oh, there we go. Yep. Okay. Crowd thought, ooh, just a little bit of a plurality on this Google Men's Tech Fleeced Vest Charcoal. Well, let's see. Let's see what happens here. We're going to go to our analytics screen here. And we want to know, we don't want to know default channel grouping, country, blah, blah, blah. Let's burn it to the ground. What we want to know is we want to know page title. Okay. Page title, I capitalized it for you. And we want to know the metric, the number is bounce rate. So very specific data. Page title, bounce rate, and we just click save. That's it. That's it. And we magically get a table with blah, 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 all this garbage, which has the very high bounce rate. That is the highest bounce rate. Okay, we don't want those pages. We want the lowest bounce rate. What page does no one ever bounce from? And there we go. It's the Google Men's Tech Fleece Vest Charcoal. That must be a very popular item because almost everyone who comes to the page, 90% of the people who visit that page do not make that their only page view. So there you go. There you go. All right. So in a similar vein, hopefully now you have a table ready to go and edit. But anyway, the plurality was correct, if not the majority. Let me go back to quiz here. There we go. And show corrected. Well done. Well done. All right. Let's keep it move on. And maybe I will shorten the time slightly. Hopefully now you've kind of warmed up to the idea of building a table. It's not that hard. It shouldn't be that hard. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. How many times did females, so what is a female? What is female? How do you get female in there? Visit the page with the title. Okay, page with the title. So visit. What's the number there? Visit. How do we calculate visit? So have a go on this one. See if you can figure this one out. I'll be interested to see if you can get this one. Okay, definitely struggling on this one. Let me put another minute on it. Let me put another minute on it. Because I want people to try this. I want people to see if we can get this one right. All right, let's have a go on this one and see what we come up with. What do we come up with? All right, a few more seconds there. Da-da-doo. Okay, so what we're trying to do is figure out how many times females, what is female? How do we do a female? And visits a page with a title. How do we get visits to a page? And the title is a very long title. Very interesting. Let's have a look. What did the crowd think? What did the crowd think? Crowd wasn't sure. We have two answers there, 3257, and we have 2297, all sort of up for the running. Let us have a look. Let me have a look at the browser here. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, we want to know the page title, right? The page title, because it was something men's clothes or something. Then we probably want to have how many page views. So this is where it gets kind of hard. You got to remember what some of these things are called. Let's see, a page view. And then we're going to add an extra element into it, which is going to be gender, because we want to see females. We want to see females. And if we look at the results, we see page title there. Yep. We see the gender here, and we see page views. And what we were looking for, and I made it a little bit easy to make sure it's on the front page. Page title, men's unisex apparel, Google merchandise store. The gender, female, page views 5701, which means that if we go back to our quiz here, no one got it. No one got it. No one got it. I finally beat the crowd. Oops. Dun, dun, dun. There we go, 0%. Wow. Wow. Okay, maybe these are harder than I thought. So, well, let's press on because we are approaching the end of our course here. And this is sort of like I don't want to say the final exam, but certainly one of the final things that we can talk about. But you may be able to get this. Maybe you'll interpret this. Try to see if you can interpret this and remember how many mobile sessions. Okay, so there we got two things that we probably remember. Started on the homepage. Try this one. I'm not going to let it run for long because people are struggling a lot with this. I can see, and we've got to move on. So maybe what I'll do, maybe I'll give an extra minute on this. I got to find the question now. And 3 minutes. There we go. All right, 3 minutes and go. All right, get your answers in. Get your answers in. Have a go. Have a go. See if you can figure this one out. How many mobile sessions started? What do you call that? What's a page called when it's the starting page? Maybe it didn't make any sense. Maybe this one's a bit hard. Anyway, the next one will be a bit easier. Be a bit easier. All right, let's see what the crowd says. What does the crowd think? Crowd thinks. Crowd thinks. Ooh, 2 out of 3 think 15,830. The crowd agrees on this. All right, so let's have a look at Google Analytics. And I'm going to start all over again. Get rid of all this stuff here. And we're looking for the starting page on mobile, how many sessions. So first thing we want to know is the starting page, which is called the landing page. Landing page in Google Analytics. And we want the mobile, which is called device category. We've been through that a few times. And the metrics we have are called sessions. Sorry, I don't expect you necessarily to remember this, but maybe you picked it up along the way. I thought maybe you might have gotten this. So landing page, device category, sessions. Okay, so those are the dimensions. That's the metric. Save this. And then I get I'm just going to put my head above too much. I get a table. And here we see my home landing page. Mobile device had 3,590. 90. Come on. It changed. Yesterday it's 3,591. For some reason they changed it. Occasionally the data gets updated. Every now and then they sort of run some algorithm on it. And it makes very slight changes in things, which is a little bit annoying. But anyway, hopefully anyone who saw that would not have been thrown and would have guessed there. So 18% of you, well done. Well done. Sorry for the 64%. Sorry for the 64%. All right, this one should be a bit easier. This one should be a bit easier. And so why don't I just make it 2 minutes because I need to press on. I don't want to get bogged down. This one is a bit easier because all I'm asking you to do is tell me what was the bounce rate of mobile sessions which started on the home page. What was the bounce rate? Not the number. What was the bounce rate? All right, not doing too bad. Not doing too bad. A little bit of a leg up there, but maybe you need it. Maybe you need that in order to get through this one. All right, let's have a look. Okay, so what do we see here? We have, what did the crowd think? Crowd thinks 41.69, or 70% of them do. And so let's go back to Google Analytics here. Hello. And we're going to go to our report. And what do we want to know? The landing page, mobile, not the number of sessions, but we want to know the bounce rate. So let's have a look. And so I'm just going to, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a metric. I could just get rid of sessions. I don't need it. But if I keep sessions in there, it keeps in the right order. Okay, the order that I like, because I know where that page is. So now we have sessions, bounce rates. Let's see. Come on, Google Analytics. Don't let us down at 4:22 in the afternoon. We're trying to get done. All right, so here we have home, mobile, sessions, 3,590, we saw before. And the bounce rate, the crowd was correct. 41.70. Okay, slightly changed from a data update last night, I guess. Oh, well. But well done. I'll give you the credit, crowd. I'll give you the credit. Well done. Yes, it was close enough. All right, last one. And this is a challenge. And I'm just going to put 2 minutes on it because I'll be surprised if anyone gets this, just for fun. This is just the last one for fun. What was the average session duration, okay, for Irish aged 35 to 44? All right, give that one a go and see if you can come up with the answer. Okay, last quiz question, last answer. Have a go. What can you get? Can you get it? Can you get it? How long did the Irish aged 35 to 44 stay on average? 3, 2, 1. All right, let's see now. What did the crowd think? The crowd thought 101. Well, let's have a look. And I go back to my Google Analytics. And we're thinking of dimension symmetric. So remember, this is sort of practice, a mental practice for what you're trying to figure out. And we want to know Irish, what is it? Irish males? Some weird question. What did I ask? Yeah, no, Irish age 35 to 44. Okay, so we're going to need to know country because we need to know whether they're Irish. We're going to need to know age because we need to know if they're 35 to 44. And we're going to need to know average session duration. Now, if you type in average, it's really annoying. It doesn't show. But if you type in AV, it comes up as the first one. Okay, average session duration. And click on save. Oh, and we see Ireland 35 to 44 stayed on our site for 9 minutes and 7 seconds on average. Crazy. The longest session duration out of anyone in the world, even longer than Spanish 65 plus. All right, so one lucky person or one very diligent person. Could be lucky, could be diligence, who knows? We'll find out in a minute. Very good there. Pick that one up. Very good. Awesome. All right, let us have a quick look at our multi-game rankings right now. And we see Fish Stargazer stayed ahead through that all. Flower Tamer pulled ahead of Angel Stargazer, but still close, We might be able to do it if we have time for our little fight to the death quiz at the end, where I've take some unfair questions from Google, totally unfair questions, and we'll run them at 50 points each to see how the last of the survivors do fighting it out. But well done, everybody, for participating. Anyway, thank you very much. It makes it all much more interesting. All right, now I just want to cover a few more things. Not much. Don't worry. I wanted to talk a bit about. Okay, so that was the exercises. Now so data tables, very interesting. We've just been doing data tables to death. We know everything we know about data tables, and they're very good for us. Analysts love data tables because we have to chop and change and arrange the data, add metrics, add dimensions. We saw ones with multiple dimensions, right? Irish and age 35 to 44. So we had country and age there. for more specific analysis, we really got around with our data tables. But we need to be very selective about what we report upwards. And a lot of times a data table, even as little as one dimension, one metric is too much. Is too much because people don't like numbers. Our monkey brains don't like numbers. Our monkey brains like pictures. So I just want to go very quickly through how we take this and turn it into pictures, okay? So yeah, and visualizations also help you, I guess, is another important thing, because it's not just your boss or whoever else is interested in analytics, but also you, because you can spot trends and find hidden relationships. Let me just very quickly go through it. Well, first of all, here, this is a nice pie chart, actually, that's in the default channel grouping. Now, normally I don't like pie charts with more than 3 or 4 slices, but this one is good because it means we've got 1, 2, 3 is most of the pie, organic direct referral, and the other slices are all very small. So it gives you a good impression that the 3 things are the most important and everything else is kind of minor. So it's good, it tells a good story. Bad visualizations are like this, okay? Where you try and look at traffic sources, blah, 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 and there's too many, and you try and, I don't know, point all different things that are telling you where they are. And then even worse, you draw this picture here, which is like a headache, ugly, and really difficult to understand. And then you add to it with some weird sort of bars here, which tells you the percentage relative to each other. Very strange arrangement there. And look, you know, it's arranging the data. It's correct. Excel will let you do all this, but it's wrong because it loses your audience. It loses your audience. So always be thinking about the people. I always say, think about your poor audience. Think about the poor people who have to read your charts, and then you'll make it simpler. Okay. Easiest thing is that you can do is do a line chart, where if you have some sort of sequential quantitative data, so we always have a line chart, usually have date on the bottom, because the line sort of implies that there's a continuity in time. And so the x-axis of the bottom is date, and then the vertical axis will be some sort of metric. So here we have users, I think, and it just tells you how many users per day, and it draws a nice line, and you can see, well, our users were high and they're low, and then they went up and down, and you know, whatever, you can infer whatever picture you want from that fairly easily. Now, one thing I would say about line charts, though, is that it's very easy to mess them up, because you can have a line chart with just way too many lines going on it, and it's very hard for people to understand this. Whereas if you have one that you really want to point out, this breakaway line here, you turn all the other ones gray, put the other one in color, et voila. You suddenly have something that just looks so much better. You can see the evolution of the metric over some other dimension here, because obviously this is divided up this time series into dimensions. These are not important. You want, hey, look at this one. It's going up while everything else is going down, kind of story. Okay. And that tells the story. If you ever have qualitative data, always use column charts or bar charts. Here we have a number, which is like the market cap. Oh, this is old. I did this a while back, I'm afraid. Now it's way bigger than that, double. That's crazy, some of these. And we have, you know, what their market capitalization was. And we don't draw lines between those because it doesn't make sense. I've seen that many times, people drawing lines between column charts, but it doesn't make sense to do that because there's no connection between the two. So we just have columns that keep things nice and separate. Pie charts, as I said, yes, very, very good for showing a small amount of data because it shows you proportional. Our brains really aren't all that good at measuring the differences in areas unless there's just like 2 or most 3. For example, this one, not too bad, 60%, 15, 25%. We can see that, you know, this is more than half, right? We can see that quite easily. And we see that this is a quarter quite easily. And then we see, well, that fills in whatever gap. That's not bad. That's not bad. This one where we have 15, 12, 9.1, 15, 12, it's impossible to tell how, you know, the relationship between these slices and which is bigger and how to categorize them. So it's a bad pie chart. Also, the other one I like about this is it starts at 12 o'clock and starts with the largest segment first, which is good. And yeah, if there's more than 3 segments, just use a bar chart or a column chart. And finally, I don't have a lot more to say because I need to get onto the next section and then make sure that we let you know about your your survey. But the only other thing is dashboards. Okay, so a lot of times analysts feel like, you know, they're born on earth to put a dashboard up and either hang it in front of everyone or send it to everybody. And in general, I'm kind of against this idea because a lot of times it's intimidating. People don't know what to make of all the charts. They're like, I really should understand this, but I don't. And so I tend to say dashboards are fine for you if you have something that you want to put all together and keep an eye on. But I would say they're kind of a personal thing that you build and maybe, sort of keep it to yourself. And if you want to share something, share scorecards, share KPI, one KPI. Maybe share some interesting, something that people want to see, like which pages are most popular is always something that's good. But say, for example, here, this is the Google homepage. We have, this is what time of day people visit, what our most popular countries are, what devices our users come on. To be honest, most people don't care. This is information for an analyst. This is information for an analyst to figure out why some groups are performing better than others, not for general consumption, because most people, they have their other things that they're interested in and not particularly interested in solving analyst problems. So shy away from dashboards as far as everyone else. Share just basic scorecard numbers, maybe a time series of your KPI showing how well your KPI is going over time. And then, of course, it's fine to put on some little interest, something like the page titles that most people are visiting, or this week's most visited page or something like that. Trivia is okay, but don't drown people in numbers and charts in order to look impressive. Finally, this final topic, and we are approaching our end because I do want to do that fight to the death quiz since we are so close. Some of the top people are so close they could probably turn it all at the end. So let me just run through this. I had some questions on this, but I probably will eschew them for our unfair quiz from Google. But a lot of people ask about ROI, and I just wanted to address it because it's something I do a full course on for executives and stuff like this. Because everyone goes, well, analytics is great, and I like to solve problems and everything, but I'm always being asked for ROI. Well, what is ROI? Well, return on investment basically means the purpose is to measure something where we put in money and we get something back, and we have to know whether or not it's worth it. Okay. And really, all ROI is just saying, right, so you've given me some money. That can be my salary. That can be my marketing costs. That can be the costs that we have to pay to, I don't know, go to agency and get them to do our mock-ups and stuff. That's all factored into the costs. And what you have to go is do and turn around and go, okay, well, this is what you got for your money. And I wish it were as simple as marketing could just say, well, we made you this much profit. It's never, ever that easy, unfortunately, because marketing can't just say they made the profit because everyone made profit, right? Everyone was involved, even finance and HR and anyone in an organization will be involved in the profit-making process. So it's a bit hard to do. So I've come up with some ideas. So first of all, here, just calculate it as, somebody gives you, the investment of, I don't know, let's say $1,000, whatever, and you return 10,000, then you might have, a 900% return. Okay. So it means you're just taking the money, giving back the original money, and how much money do you make on top of that? That's what it gives you an ROI calculation. It's very easy calculation. The devil is in the details. And really what I say to marketers, to CMOs, and their sort of intermediate managers, is that when you are getting ready for ROI, the first thing you have to do is ask yourself, what is it that you need to prove? What is it you're doing? What is the value are you providing the business? And I think this is a very difficult question for everyone in marketing, because a lot of what we do is not really, we try to measure as much as we can, but the results are not nearly, we can measure things like, how well our segments are performing. We can measure how various channels perform. We can even do crazy things like attribution modeling and see what happens when we try different attribution models. But when we say, okay, what was the end result of the marketing? What effect did it have on the business? A lot of people are kind of like, we're not sure, because why did somebody buy? Did they buy because the product was good? Did they buy because of the marketing? Did they buy because the salesperson? Did they buy because they just always buy it? We don't know. We don't really know. It's very hard to tell. And so instead, what I encourage people to do is think carefully about the value that they provide in the process of delivering a customer, so that you can say, hey, I was able to influence something within the company so that we were able to get more customers. And if you can say that with some, I don't know, some surety, then I think that you're doing your best at proving ROI. I think it's very difficult to prove it in any other way. So I'm going to go through these a little bit quickly because I don't want to blow it on the time. But I do want to say that, for anyone who is a sole contributor or a CMO, what you really need to do is prove that a program that you're doing is important. Okay. And, I don't think a lot of times people aren't quizzed on this so much. They sort of just go, well, we sort of just trust them. Here's your annual marketing budget. But if you ever want to do something interesting, if you ever want to do something different, you probably at some point will be asked to prove why it is that what the results were of your program. And so it could be, okay, so for example, here's an example program for somebody is that we need to put more money into digital. It's just the constant battle. Because a lot of companies are very used to buying a $10,000 ad in a newspaper, but they're not used to putting that sort of money on a digital platform. Or not used to taking money off of the traditional and putting it on digital. It can be something that'd be a bit hard for people who aren't in marketing to do. And so what this CMO or sole contributor would have to do is to convince people with channel analysis, the conversion analysis that we talked about previously, that digital is, first of all, more measurable, and it can help you improve much faster. Okay? So you can find more customers on digital, call them digital, whatever. We can move them quicker through the funnel with our conversion analytics that we do. And I'll just be building a case up to sort of convince on that. So I had in mind, this is sort of a report that I put together along with a few other people in the industry who said that, this is what their budget was. And this was their breakdown. And what they said is that, they were able to show that the customer lifetime value of offline customers was lower than online. And they put it down really that, when we acquire somebody on offline, we have a lot of trouble, getting their details, understanding who they are, what they need. When people come in digital, we have data on them from the moment they enter the site, et cetera, et cetera. But, it's all interesting, to talk among marketers about all the great things we do digital. The rest of the world does not care. They want to see numbers like this. Okay. Simple as. They want to see that you have a different CLV, then what happens to the business? Well, if we transition over 5 years, the marketing ROI will increase from 72 to 120%, and that will gain us, $680,000 in, in 5 years' time. Every year, we'll make more than, I don't know, more money every year. And so, this trend is explaining it in dollars and cents. People will forget all the other stuff that you're talking about, why digital is better. No one cares. No one really cares outside of marketing. They just want to know that what you're doing has been thought out, and you are going to deliver more value through doing your new program. Okay, so that's sort of like the high level, maybe if you're a sole contributor or if you're a CMO. But most people are more often in the area of being a marketing director or something, or some sort of manager. And that is where you are in charge of the channels, okay? And so you may, have the high level has already been decided. You don't really have a say in how much budget is allocated to this and that, but you are handed a budget and say, right, maximize this, do as well as you can on this. And so what I think this is really applicable to is when you do your can do your segment analysis, and you can come back with a report and say, hey, if you allocate my budget to this particular segment or these particular channels, I moved money from here to here. Last year we had this sort of a return. This year we had improved. Or maybe you have to justify it in advance and say, I anticipate that if I move it, this will happen. And this is sort of the angle you have to take up. You're not going to start any new big program. You're just going to change the way things work with the existing, how the budget is allocated. And so you might have a program a bit like this. So I might say, my budget allocation is not optimal. We are investing too much in one channel, paid social, and it has a low or negative ROI. And so what we're going to do is I've done the numbers, I've crunched the numbers, I've seen the channels that we have high ROI. If we shift money from paid social to, what do I say, paid search there, better performing channels, then we will achieve this much more money in marketing generated revenue, will increase marketing ROI. And this is the case that you have to make. So this is the main sort of, I don't know, difficult thing for a lot of marketers to get over, because this is where most people land, is that they're in charge. They're not in charge of the whole program, but they're in charge of something, in charge of allocating resources. And you justify your ROI, your existence, by the fact that you are looking for opportunities to move media spend or creative or change the customer journey from a unprofitable way to something that's more profitable. Very important. And then finally, we have marketing executives, maybe people who are just starting off first few years. They are the ones who actually have to create the ads and do the work on the website and write the content marketing and all this other kind of great stuff that needs to be done. And really, their ROI story is not about moving mountains like a CMO, or not about changing things around like a marketing manager, but instead they might say, "Hey, the money you're investing in me, I'm going to show to you, excuse me, that the work that I'm doing is actually making a difference." And what the marketing executive has to do is they have to be a bit more of an analyst than the other two, and they have to actually monitor some of the KPIs or the explanatory metrics. But I would say KPIs are best, that they are able to move them over time. Now, no one wants to see all the details. They don't want to see all the stuff behind the scenes. Oops, sorry, here we go. That this and that you've done this and that. They just want to know, okay, here was the click-through rate of my ads through, for all of 2020. And you can see I made adjustments now and then. I put, I don't know, masks on all of my talent, for the ads, whatever. And we see a steady rise because people got it, that we were, sort of with the times or whatever. And the work that I did, we started here with a, I don't know, 1% click-through rate. We finished with 1.5. That was the work I did. And it really is about adjusting your, showing that you made a difference within the in the KPI. And it could look even just something as simple as this. This is, you have a KPI of getting more visitors to the site. You have, the click-through rate and the impressions. Maybe you improved how you buy the ads, or you have better ad timing or something like that, or you write better ads or something like that. But you contribute in some way, and you say, hey, I made a material difference on a metric. This would be a supporting metric, but still, a metric that would help the business. And so ultimately, proving ROI with analytics, it's not as easy as just saying, well, the company made this much profit and you put this much in marketing. So, you put $1 million in marketing, the company made $3 million in profit. So, hey, marketing made $2 million. It's not like that. And it never works like that. Instead, you have to be a little bit more specific about the work that you did and the value that you provided the company. All right. I burned through that a little bit. I normally take a lot more time on that, but I thought it'd probably be a good idea to press on to make sure that we finish on time, and maybe hopefully have time to do our little survey. But I just want to do a little review and make sure this is in your notes. So today, we talked about, and I won't go, I think that I have the notes from the summary from day one earlier in the presentation at the beginning. So the day two summary is, look, segmentation is important. You find someone that's underperforming. You find a group that's underperforming. And you try to make them as good as the performing one, or at least as good as the average, in order to improve your metrics. Channels are special. You can have site visitors where you just come from one channel. You can get them cross-channel through campaigns, or you can measure them in multi-channel. But my feeling, this is just my opinion, not my proven analysis, is that the simpler you keep it, the more likely it is you're going to be able to find something out that's worth changing. The more complicated it just gets too hard to manage. And unless you're spending $1 million a year, you're probably making things too complicated with multi-channel attribution modeling. So you can conversions. You can use the conversion segment idea that I have, where you look at people who have converted and try and turn them into a segment and see what they're like. Or you can use checkout analysis to improve your conversions. Your reports. Okay, we tried that. Getting your dimensions and metrics in order to try and find out new information. It's hard. It's hard. It takes a little practice. Seemed to be by the end, some people were getting it, definitely. But it's still difficult. I'm sorry, I probably pushed the envelope on that a little bit too hard. But both the reports and the visualizations can help tell your story. But my goodness, keep it simple. And then my final point really is about operational analytics. Is that A/B testing, proving ROI sounds simple. It sounds simple, but really they need to be well planned. So definitely have a plan if you are going to do any of those. All right, we have a little bit of time. I just want to run the last unfair quiz just for a little bit of fun right at the very end. I've had to put it in a new URL. So let me put the URL in here. MMAQ2, and this is questions. So if anyone is interested in taking this further and learning more, if I've sparked your interest and you go, you know what, I'd like to learn a bit more Google Analytics, go to the Google Academy, and they have some short video courses. And I think if you just take the beginners one for analytics and the advanced one for analytics, it's about 50 to 60% of what you need to know to pass the Google Analytics individual qualification, which this is where these questions are taken from, because I just wanted to show you what Google questions are like. But it's, if you watch those videos and you take the exam, the thing about the exam, right? It's 70 questions, takes about an hour and a half. It's not nothing. It's free. It's free to do, so it doesn't cost you anything. And if you fail, you can take it again the next day. And what I would say is, if you want to pass that exam, you're on your way here. You've had enough exposure that I think you've probably got enough to go and do these and go and do the video courses, and you probably stand a pretty good chance of passing, to be honest. It's hard, but I think you need an 80% to pass. And so if you try it a few times, eventually you'll get it. That's how I did it initially anyway. All right, let's go. Oh, sorry, I have a question here. What about Google Tag Manager? Is it necessary to have this? No, it's not necessary. You can do all this with just a Google Analytics tag. However, many organizations are now moving to the Tag Manager, because what it allows you to do is it allows you to connect your website to many different data sources. So Facebook marketing, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google Analytics, Google Ads, all this stuff can be all managed in one place. And so it's quite good. E-commerce is much better done through Google Tag Manager. So I recommend it, definitely, but it's not necessary. You can just have Google Analytics on its own as well, depending on how big your site is and how many IT guys there are, basically. If it's just you, then you can just use your Google Analytics tag. If there are IT guys involved, you might be better off Google Tag Manager, because then the IT guys put it on once, and then the marketing people can add and remove tags at will just through a web interface. So it is pretty good. It is pretty good, and it's free, but it's a little bit tricky. It's free, but it's not as easy to use as Google Analytics. A little bit trickier than that. Okay, let's see how many got. Okay, so how many got? Let's go into MMAQ. Okay, I think everyone is piling in. Let me switch over to, so it's MMAQ2, and let me switch over to the quiz here. And what I'm going to do is, oops, I'm not in the right one. MMAQ2. Let me just start it, and let's go through a few unfair questions here. And so yeah, these are the real life Google questions. Quiz day 2. There we go. I'm going to hit play in 3, 2, 1, and this is going to be timed. And let me just get decreasing points timer. How long is the time? Oh, there we go. Timing is 45 seconds, 50 points each. And let's go in 3, 2. There we go. 5, 3, 2, 1, and go. All right, final question of our final match, right at the edge of 5 p.m. Let's see. We had totally unfair questions that you're unprepared for, but a good fun anyway. All right, what was the answer to this one? Let me just go through the answers just for fun here. Oh, wow, not too bad, not too bad. All right, let me just go through very quickly just for fun. Number one. What is the bounce rate in Google Analytics? Well, the bounce rate is the percentage of visits when someone lands on the website and exits without any interaction. And it's something we watch to see whether our channels are performing well. What channel is not included in the default channels report? Well, I saw a lot of people thought display, but actually display is a channel. Display are those annoying ads that we see when we go and visit websites. Instead, it's device. Device is like a platform, because a device you can go from a device, which is mobile, from organic search, direct, or display, any of these things. What analysis tool would you use to analyze the behavior of new customers versus returning customers on your website? Well, hopefully out of that list, you were able to pull out, yes, okay, half got it. Anyway, segmentation. We segment new customers and returning customers, and we learn about our audiences and see which ones are performing better. That is one of the main tasks of analytics. Question 4, what of the following is the benefit of using segments in your data analysis? Boy, I am surprised. I thought everyone would pick F, but you did very well on this, and almost everyone found the little bad one there. The D was wrong and picked E. Excellent, well done. You do not permanently modify the data. Otherwise, Google would never let us use them. Absolutely no way. What is the purpose of the URL builder? Well, this was a bit of a trick question, because you could think it was to build things and to track Google Ads or organic search, but it's not. It's just to generate a URL with tracking parameters. That's it. So the number 1 was the right one there. And we use it so that we make sure we get the data. As analysts, we have to make sure that all our campaigns are tagged so that we get the campaign data instead of just the channel data. Which default traffic source dimension does Google Analytics report for each website visitor? Boy, that was a little bit of a mouthful, and maybe something that wasn't so obvious to pick up. However, quite a few people got it, I think, and it was, there we go, 50. More than half got it. Source and medium. That's how Google can tell what channel you're from. It figures out what site you were at and what sort of click it was. And then finally, well done here. What are the following metrics would most strongly suggest a poorly performing landing page if you have a bounce rate more than 90%? Indeed. Okay, the moment you've all been waiting for. First of all, I just want to see the ranking leaderboard for this quiz on its own. And we see Fish Stargazer, Flower Tamer, and Angel Stargazer. They won this quiz as well. Some other people did pretty good too. Not too bad. Not too bad. Well done, everyone who participated. But overall, let's see the ranking leaderboard. And no surprise there, Fish Stargazer wins. Flower Tamer number 2, and Angel Stargazer not far, but a 3rd place. Okay, congratulations, Fish Stargazer. Applause, well done. Thank you for leading us all and keeping us on our toes this time, all the way through. We do appreciate all the efforts that you've put into it. Okay, so hopefully now I think we just have one last thing, which is that make sure that everyone has this survey link. I think that Marion has put it up here, and we ask everyone to fill it out so that we can learn more about what we've done. And maybe if you have any advice on how we could run some sort of this stuff better, we'd appreciate it, because we'd like to do more of these video type trainings, considering the world that we're in right now would be good. But also anything in analytics. If there's something else that you would like to learn, I think we can do, try and improve this, or we can maybe do another course as well. So yes, I agree with Marina here. Congratulations to the top scorers. Thank you so much. You can reveal yourself. I wouldn't mind seeing who is Fish Stargazer. Who is that top scorer who's been leading us all the time? Who is the fish? Don't be shy. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for attending. Thank you very much for sitting through it. Thank you much for the participation. It makes it so much easier, I think, when we sort of go a bit back and forth between a bit of talking and that. I thought definitely the efforts on the Google Analytics were great. I was really surprised at some of the exercises we were able to do, and I think everyone has a good foundation now on how to use a serious analytics tool, which is Google Analytics. And so I do highly recommend having a look at that Google Analytics Academy and trying out for a further qualification. Okay. All right. Marion, anything else left to say that you'd like to mention? Thank you for being here. Yep.
So thank you so much, Jeff. It was amazing these both days. I'm sure everyone is loaded with information. So thank you everyone for being here. So we hope to look forward meeting Jeff face to face next year, hopefully once the pandemic is settled down. So as promised, we'll be handing over the recordings and also the printed copies. So kindly just fill in the survey in order to get your printed copy posted to you, and I will be sharing the PDF version of the notes combined day 1 and day 2 to y'all. So I'll email it everything to y'all by tomorrow. So just fill in the survey, let us know what you would like to share with us, how we can improve the training, and also if you all have any further topic suggestion.
Yes, definitely. Topics would be great.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Marion. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
have a great day, and hopefully we'll see you in the new year. All right. Take care, everybody, and have a good evening.
Have a good evening. So I'm going to leave it open for you all to get the survey link. So I'm going to leave it for around 5 minutes. Thank you so much for those who have filled in. So have a great evening and stay safe.